What's up, everybody? Ben Rezzi here for Stokastic, talking a little PGA Strategy, Scottish Open. We're going to break down the field. We're going to break down the course. Most importantly, we're going to look at the tools to formulate our lineups, hopefully. Build some that give us a chance on Sunday for a real sweat. I want to welcome in Stokastic. All things DFS, from PGA to baseball. Soon enough, NFL and college football here. We can't be more excited, and I hope you guys are excited to be here. Take a look and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Let's dive into it. We've had a good week, last couple weeks. Obviously, we're in some birdie fest. Now we cross over. We go to the Open Championship without it being the Open Championship. Kind of the precursor, the warm-up. Scotland, and a different type of golf. Let's get into that a little bit before we dive into the plays themselves. Link style, Renaissance Club. We've seen this course for a handful of years now. Par 70 layout, kind of awkward, got the par 5s, 5 par 3s. I don't think it really matters. Things that I am leaning on, it's not overly demanding off the tee. I think that you want, of course, a good on game. You can pretty much say that every week out here. Guys, you need to be able to dial it in. Not super punishing. The greens are keep an eye on that weather. You might want to group some tee times. You might want to group some skill sets. You might want to stack, even if it looks like nothing crazy. And right now, when I'm looking, I don't see anything crazy. But that doesn't mean it can't change. So always keep an eye on that. That is really important. For me, I mean, when we look at it, the last couple of years at this course have been won by big-time players, Rory and Xander. So that doesn't really give us a skill set. That just means when you're really good, you can win anywhere. Other things of note, Scotty Scheffler is not here. So it does change the dynamic of the pricing. Everyone kind of just bumps up. You know, Rory's in a spot that Scheffler would be and vice versa. Other part, full field. A lot of players to get through. And on that, let's start getting to these players. Let's bring up our data hub, all part of our sims. We'll talk about that throughout. But it's time to start diving in because we got a lot of players to get to. And it starts with the top tier. We've got Rory, Xander, Abear, Morikawa, Tommy, Victor Hovland, Tom Kim, Hideki. So a couple things just to point out right off the bat, at least for me. The pricing starts to really fall quickly. So I rattled off, 6 or 7 names, and we're talking about $2,500. So Rory to Xander, $200. Xander to Abear, $1,200. And then you immediately bump into the nimes pretty quickly. So you're going to have to really, really strain if you go up and take Rory plus another 10K, something like that. It can be done, but you're going to have a different type of lineup depending on which top tier player you get to. Certainly, it's hard to really break down these guys. As you can see, they're all going to be popular, and these things can and will update. They're all great players. They're all very solid plays. Rory's coming off a heartbreak at the U.S. Open. I think that's pretty unquantifiable. He could be angry and dust the field. He could be devastated and not ready to play. I have no idea. Certainly going to be in the pool of the guys on the screen. Tommy Fleetwood at 9,900, I think, is a great balance build. He loves this place. He's peppered the leaderboard all the time here. He's playing good, consistent golf. The big knock on him, and it is a knock, is that he never wins. And when you're starting to pay basically $10,000 for a guy, coming in 13th, coming in 16th, coming in 15th is not really going to cut it. Now, he doesn't miss cuts. He's certainly acclimated to links golf, and he's certainly acclimated to the Renaissance Club. I think the nice thing about Fleetwood is that he could be your starting point. He could also be your second man in. That hurts for ownership. He's going to be one of, if not the most popular play on the slate. But I do really like that spot. Looking up top, I see no problems with Rory. I really see no glaring problems with any of these players because they're so good. Tom Kim, he certainly has shown, obviously, his abilities at this course, 6th and 3rd. But he's 9,500 in this field. I do think that's a little lofty. He was second at Travelers. He missed the cut at Rocket Mortgage. I'm not looking to really pay that type of price tag for him. Hideki, if he's sub 10% owned, that will be very interesting. He would be the clear leverage in this spot, and I'm fine with that. I think you can get overweight. Starting like Fleetwood Decky or Hovland Decky, those are going to be really interesting balance builds. For me up top, Rory Decky, something like that, could be where I go. I'm indifferent to Morikawa, indifferent to Abear. Those are guys, when I run the Sims, if they pop up, great. I will have no problem. Not going to manually tinker with them too much. There's just too many good players at the top. So you've got Rory for me. You've got Fleetwood for me. And I think that Decky is very interesting leverage. I do like him over a guy like Min Woo. Let's scroll because we got a lot of plays to get to. Fitzy and Connors, Justin Thomas. Here we go. Brian Harmon, Sanjay, Rai, who's been playing phenomenal. The Gala's back. Wyndham Clark, Jordan Spieth. That's a mystery, man. Fitzy, another guy that I definitely have some interest in. Flat 9, obviously a guy that when he's on, he's led by the irons and the putter. Lately, the irons have been a little all over the place. He's navigated through it. He just has one miscut dating back to the Players, and it was at the PGA Championship where he actually just really putted himself out of the tournament. But he also only has a top 5 at Memorial. He was 5th at the Players as well. That's about it, though. So with Fitzy, he's got to shore that up a little. You go for a much more reliable iron player in Corey Connors. This is a guy that's definitely shown abilities to just consistently gain. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to crush you off the tee, but he gains and then he sets and leans on his irons. Made the cut here last 2 years. He was 19th in 2023. I think that's probably the safe, I hate to say safe in a PGA video, but that's the guy that I think most people gravitate towards in like cash, made cut equity, because right below him is Justin Thomas, who, if you've watched these videos, first of all, it's appreciated. And if you've watched my year, Justin Thomas has been a pain point all year. He has not had a great year, but it's also not nearly as bad as it seems. Justin Thomas is missing the cuts in the biggest events. He missed the cut at the Masters, the Players, and the US Open. Outside of that, he doesn't have a missed cut dating back to March. The guy he was 5th at Travelers, 8th at the PGA, 5th at Heritage. The irons have been there predominantly all year. The putter has let him down numerous times. Not super successful in links golf. I think that's probably the biggest knock on a guy like JT. But more importantly than his success at links golf is his skill set. And I think he should be better at courses like this. I don't know why Justin Thomas's game wouldn't translate. A miscut and a 60th in the last couple of years. He's better than that. There's no doubt about it. He's an incredible around the green player. When he's at his best, his irons are absolutely cooperating. And this shouldn't be a putting contest by any stretch of the imagination. So once again, I think JT is an interesting bet. And I also think he's an interesting flyer at potentially sub 10% ownership. Going down, Harmon, Im, Rai, Thigala, Clark, and Spieth. I think my favorites will be Sanjay and Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark has had an up and down year as well. It's been really, really good at times. He won at Pebble. Came in 2nd at the Players, 2nd at API, 3rd at Heritage, but he's got some miscuts at the Masters, at the PGA, at Memorial, 56 at the US Open. Hit and miss with his irons. He's got the off the tee and putting combo when he's at his best. That can translate. He's got some reps here. I totally get that. Sanjay is just someone I'm going to continue to buy in these mid-range price points. He's every guy you can honestly say has had some ups and downs this year. That's just the nature of golf. But he's starting to get it together. 4 out of 5 inside the top 15, 3 out of 5 inside the top 10. Gaining off the tee automatically, gaining with the irons. Putters come around. Sanjay makes a lot of sense to me. One of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play in this tournament. Rai is going to be very popular. That's probably the biggest knock on him. The Gala, if you're talking 1/3 the ownership, that's probably an interesting pivot there. And then Jordan Spieth, who he got crazy hot at John Deere, but he ended up in 26th. I'm not sure what to make of it. He's had a consistently pretty rough stretch here. I would say he's more on the outside looking in for me. I'm just not sure I'm ready to get there with a guy like Spieth just because of how many names there are in this tournament. Scrolling, Davis Thompson. Congratulations. Shot like 40 under last week. Bobby Mack. Certainly a guy that you're going to hear about this week for good reason. But he's Scottish, so that's probably the main reason. Max Homa, Straka, Benyon, Bez, Seawood, Denny McPutts, Noren Mitchell. Look, you see a couple guys jump off the page ownership-wise, and again, I keep stressing this. Stay on top of it. I will show you in just a minute how to get inside the ropes here at Stokastic. But Bobby Mack and Bez, popular Bez, that hurts because I do like him. Definitely going to be in the pool, but at 24% potential, he's going to be one of the chalk plays in this range. And I do think you want to be a little careful there. That's something that, doesn't mean don't play him at all, but just keep an eye on it. Homa, Straka, Benyon. Keep an eye on these type of players. Again, this is where more and more skill set, I think, reigns supreme. If you're talking about, give me the best short game specialist, well, Bez is going to come up. Denny McCarthy is going to come up. If you say, give me the best driver in this range, I mean, somebody like Benyon, Straka, Keith Mitchell, those are the type of guys that can absolutely crush it. And you can build your teams effectively there. When you look at, the optimal, the leverage, Max Homa's almost neutral. Bobby Mack and Bez grade out negative, but again, a lot of that's ownership driven and that will refine. I'm not specifically just throwing guys away. Denny McCarthy, though, look at that. That is a good positive leverage score right now, and it's because of that ownership. And he's someone last week I picked him to win, and he didn't win, but he played well. We know he can roll it. We know he's going to have to rely on the putter, but he seems to bring that everywhere at this point. And I don't mind that even at link style golf. If he can just hold on off the tee, that's what we're going to get. He was 7th at John Deere, and he gained basically 1 stroke off the tee and 1 stroke with the irons. That's all it takes with a guy like Denny McCarthy. So keep that in mind. If he continues to grade out like that, I will get over the field. To round out the rest of the 7s, you still have names here, by the way. Noren and Mitchell and Scott, Detry, Billy Ho. And the nice thing, as you can see on the screen, outside potentially Detry and Hollywood Hoagie, we might not get a lot of ownership here on some of these guys. Like 5% Adam Scott, I think that's pretty reasonable. Consistent, maybe not that ceiling that he once possessed, but he's still a cut maker. I mean, the guy's made 9 out of 10 cuts. Peppers that top 30, top 40 of the leaderboard. It's a little thin, but at the same time, couple extra strokes here or there. He cracks inside the top 20, and he's a nice play at 7,300. Let's round out the 7s and then talk about a couple other things going on. You've got Ryan Fox, Tom McKibben. That's a Euro player. EVR, another driver-heavy guy. Again, these are guys that, the beautiful thing and the power of these tools, you don't have to have a stand on any of these guys if you don't want to. You just let them do the work, see who grades out, see where that leverage is, and if they pop up in your lineups and you're comfortable with it, you let it fly. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about certainly the tools here at Stokastic that if you haven't seen what's going on, it's time to get involved. You've got the data hub that I'm on, contest generator, pre-contest, post-contest. You can analyze, build out your lineups, and it's all customizable. If you have not used these, check it out for the week. Come on in, see what we're about. And we are celebrating our very own Greg Ehrenberg. I'm sure you've seen him on this channel many a times, banked $50,000 last week in PGA. And when you do that around here, you get your own code, apparently. So I got to get on it because I want my own code. Promo, we're running a promo, and it's just Greg. When you go to checkout, when you click the links below, just apply that. You're going to get 25% off. It's only running for the day, ends Thursday, but it's a cool opportunity. We always love to give back when we have big scores, especially when it's the tools that are driving it. I know Greg obviously has been one of the champions of this stuff. It works. It's been awesome. And it's really cool to say. So shout out to him. Shout out to promo code Greg. Links are below. You want to get a little dangerous? Here we go to the lower salary savers. The thing that's interesting about this field, it almost morphs in real time to a Euro field, and you're about to see it. We've talked about a lot of Americans, and we talked about a lot of PGA Tour players. All of a sudden, Euros are going to pop up, and then it's really going to get dangerous. We start to see this here. I mean, it's crazy to see Will Z sub 7, but I totally get it. Pavone is here at 6'9". He's probably going to be the chalk in this range. You have both Holgards. I think I prefer Nikolai, but both of them I think have some utility. Then you've got a couple names that are definitely PGA Tour flyers with upside. Kurt Kitayama has shown that. Matt Wallace has shown that. And Ben Griffin last week just showed that. All three of those guys, I think, make sense. For me, if I had to pick one, it would be Ben Griffin. I just like his game. I think he is trending upward. I'm making an assumption, but he's probably the least familiar with links golf, just judging by the three names that I talked about. You've got Kurt Kitayama used to play in Europe. Matt Wallace is from England. But Ben Griffin, if he can figure out this putter, he's more of a Bermuda guy. That's not what he's going to face here. I like the way he's played. He was 2nd in Canada. He was 5th at John Deere. String of made cuts this year. He can get it done. He's got real good iron play. He was 25th at the Scottish Open last year. I think he fits nicely as a pay down option this week. Jordan L. Smith, here we go. Byrne from Austria, Justin Rose, Hadwin, Eckroyd, Hubbard, Sebastian Soderberg, Eric Cole, Seamus, and Ricky. This is the bottom of my range that I'm really, I don't want to say high on, but where I think there's a lot of potential plays. Again, some of his ownership's going to flip. There's no way, in my opinion, that Soderberg is going to be 12%. That's just not going to happen. Cole, Seamus, Ricky, I think they're all playable. Eric Cole was fantastic last week. Of the three guys I just mentioned, I actually like him the least, even though he's playing the best. I know that's a little counterintuitive. But when I look at him, he did a lot with the short game the last couple weeks. If he can continue that, he's going to be awesome. He was 6th at Rockage and 7th at John Deere, but he gained severely around the green and with the putter. I'd say that's pretty atypical for a guy like that. Let's talk about the other two. Let's talk about Seamus, who I think really fits here. Not a lot of success with links golf. 20th at Travelers, 17th at John Deere, 39 birdies in those two birdie fests, but he gained strokes in all 4 categories in both weeks. He's missed the cut at the US Open before that, but he was 27th at Memorial, 16th at Wells Fargo. He has gained in 5 of 6 with the irons. His off the tee game is the weakest part. I don't think it'll be stressed here at all. If he can keep it in play, avoid some stupid hazards, Seamus sets up nicely at 64. I don't expect him to be popular. We're in the low 6s. You're not going to get a lot of chalk here. I like that spot for him. Will be overweight. Now, Ricky is a little more dangerous. There's no doubt about it. This might have to be a manual boost if he grades out bad, because I do want to get a little Ricky into my player pool. Interesting year because he's been all over the place, but he still has made 7 of his last 9 cuts. And lately, maybe I'm just zooming in a little too aggressively. He has a putting and iron combo that is working. He has gained 2 straight on the approach and 2 straight with the putter en route to a 20th at Travelers and 31st at Rocket Mortgage. That is the type of skill set that we want. That is the type of skill set that we need. And Ricky's going to be a true GPP flyer here. So keep that in mind. I'll rattle off a couple of other names before I get out of here. You have Rayo, who I've continued to play at 6,300. I think you can blindly bet on talent. You've got Lee Hodges at 61. Again, this is a guy, he was 12th at Scottish last year. His irons come to play. He showed out in the PGA Championship. Really, really good showing there. He lost 8 strokes putting last week. That's what killed him at John Deere. When you're in a birdie fest, you just simply cannot do that. I don't mind it. Big questions here. Do you need to go this low? If the answer is yes, you do have playable guys. You're not going to have to worry about ownership. Everyone's going to be very lightly owned. But I don't think you need to make some hero calls. I'm going to rattle off a couple more names. And again, if there's someone I didn't get to, always, just please tweet me. Get involved. If you sign up for package, of course, I'll be in Discord. But if not, at Jazzraz DFS, I'm always around on Twitter. I'm happy to help give my take on any of these guys because there's so many in the field. This is a full field of golf. And now we're into the 5K range where, again, you just don't need to go down here if you don't want to. Justin Lauer, that's a name at 58. Sammy Valimaki, awesome last week. I'd say he's probably the best play down here. And then my guy, Alexander Bjork. He hasn't played a lot, but when he has played, he's been really good. He's gotten some reps on the PGA Tour this year. He's not a good hitter in terms of driving the ball. He's an elite putter. He can dial it in with the short irons. And we're talking about a $5,600 player. The reason that I'm talking about these guys is not because I objectively love the spot for them. It's because if you say to me, I want Rory and Xander, I need Rory and Xander, plus an 8,800 play, well, you're going to be funneled to these lower ranges. You have no choice. The salary only works out. So if you say, you know what, I think Xander and Rory and Bjork combined is the best use of my 30,000. That's how you get to these guys. Unless you have a line that I'm not seeing, I don't really feel the need to go down here. You've got Southgate right next to him as well. He's someone that if he rolls it, can absolutely get it going. Just because they're in the field, they deserve to be seen on the screen for a couple seconds. I'm not going to play any of these guys. We're just going to scroll just so they can get their due. Callum Schwinkwin is here. Shout out. Dylan Fratelli is here. Yeah, I'd say even if you're going aggressive here, there's better ways to build. There's just no reason to play these guys at the bottom. It's probably not even probably. It's doing more harm than good to your lineups. They're not going to grade out well in the tools, and they shouldn't. There's just no way. Final thoughts from me. Again, I already mentioned we're in Scotland. It's a different type of golf. We're gearing up for the Open Championship. Group a little skill sets, group a little tee times, and don't be afraid to take some different types of players here. Links golf is a different animal. It's a different beast. Acquired taste, I guess you could say. But to me, there's a lot of opportunities to really change up your lineups here. Thanks again for tuning in. Love doing this show. I know I ride solo on it, but I hope at least I give you a little clarity on some of the guys. It's early on a Wednesday that I think are the priorities for me, from the top to the middle, some of those salary savers. And as the tools update, so will the lineups. And again, any questions, always hit me up. Happy to help. Final thoughts, shout out to everyone here at Stokastic for you guys' support, and hit the like button on the way out. And remember, promo code Greg if you want to save a little money and get inside the ropes. For me, for everyone here at Stokastic, and for the Scottish Open field, good luck this week. Let's see another big score as part of the Stokastic family. Tweet us when you do. I'll see you guys soon enough for the Open Championship.